Okay, good morning. This is day 110, I think 110 of making little videos of describe a day or thought in the life of Schizophrenic Dominic. I am experiencing schizoid affective disorder, which I believe is an experience of schizophrenia. I am diagnosed with schizoid affective disorder. I believe it is a reality to be experienced and that I am not diseased or crazy. I have written a book on medium.com titled Unveiling the Schizophrenic Tradition, which I post to the topic sections of these posts. And it is about my thought processes, which could have gotten me targeted. Like I said yesterday, it's a little embarrassing to have people read your book, but it's free and maybe I'll publish it in the future. On day 17 of these videos, I describe why I call myself a schizophrenic rather than targeted individual. And on day 45, I have a 3-minute intro which explains why I make these videos in the first place. Okay, so I expressed some of the amount of thoughts from books and feedback and synchronicity that I get from the public, from the government, and things like that. And not too much to report on the synchronicity front today. Just basically thought processes. And so I'll start off with the reality TV show that Kristi Noem supposedly wanted to do for a competition-based game where immigrants from around the world compete to become an American citizen. And this, I was reading about the producer who claims that he's the guy that did Duck Dynasty and I can't remember what else, but like he said that the government, the Department of Homeland Security was considering his show. Kristi Noem has since denied that it has happened, but this guy is on record saying that they were considering it. And so I guess in the last 6 days, it's been this back and forth. And Kristi Noem apparently, once they caught wind that it was frowned upon, they started to back off of it. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were working on it with this producer, and I don't know why this producer would just go out of his way to say that they were working on it. Anyways, he described that it would be like a group, a community in the United States where people vote, and like they say, like it's all about like what the immigrant can do for you. Like what's the immigrant's skill set that allows him to benefit your community, to come into your community. It's kind of like it's very transactional, so it's like can you do something for me, then we will let you in, kind of thing. And so you know I was thinking, we're gonna get into something here, but in my Olajuwon, I'm gonna segue here for a second, I will come back to this, but like in my Olajuwon book, it was describing a park called Rowe Park, and Olajuwon would play at this Rowe Park. It's like a Rucker Park of Nigeria, and that's where all the basketball players in Nigeria go to become formidable players and stuff. And it was the I was reading in the book, and it was quoting a guy from Nigeria saying like, when we saw that Olajuwon could make it, we thought we could all make it. And that's a very nice sentiment, but it's probably, I was just thinking about it like objectively, like it's probably not true. Like just because one person from an area or a neighborhood makes it doesn't mean that everybody can. There's such a thing in our system as like there's like the gutter class. I think that was a professor that stated that, I recall from my sister's time in school or whatever, and I think she had a book about that, and like there's a thing in capitalism where there's like the underclass is a necessary component to run the system, And that's something that we have to modify if we're going to keep this capitalist system going. We have to modify the fact that we have like an underclass, and we have to try to modify our system so that we eliminate the underclass, not like the fascist elimination, but like social elimination, like as far as like lifting everybody up kind of thing. And so that's not even talked about right now, but anyways, so I was thinking like it's probably not true that everybody could make it or whatever, but and I was thinking of like the idea of equal opportunity. And equal opportunity is a nice idea, but in reality, with the way the world is, it's almost impossible to have equal opportunity. There's just your circumstances create your opportunities a lot of times, and there's not such a thing as equal opportunity. Now, I think it's a nice idea, it's a nice goal to work towards as a society when we function the way we do, because we could function totally different, but like let's say we function the way we do now. Equal opportunity is a nice idea to work toward, but like it's not really something that exists in reality. So you could create opportunities. Basically, there's just opportunities, and you can create opportunities for a wider section of people and reach into areas where people don't have a lot of opportunities and try to give them opportunities. But in reality, it's just not really feasible to have equal opportunity between every person on the planet. And so, it's kind of like a myth. And so, and I was okay. This was getting into the idea that like I saw something as a meme. This is a little bit synchronicity, but I was reading about Olajuwon and the people saying he was so good, and he got out of Nigeria and he got into the NBA, and if he can make it, on the world stage from his neighborhood, then we can all make it or whatever. And this got me into thinking about like the reality TV show where the immigrants are competing to show their skill, and then they get accepted by the dominant society and stuff like that. And I was thinking like, and I saw this thing. It was a Packer fan. It's random, right? But a Packer fan meme that came up on my feed, and it said, "We can't all be awesome," and it was saying like not everyone could be a Packer fan because we can't all be awesome. And that made me think like the idea of that we can all be awesome is kind of an interesting idea. Like I think everybody has a lot of capabilities in them, and everybody has a lot of capabilities, but like there's just there's health effects, there's disabilities, there's uh traumas, there's so much going on in the world, and it's like you can't expect everybody to be awesome. uh and so like the idea that like the what is awesome anyways, but like the idea that everybody can be like a perfect pizza maker or a engineer or something, like and so it's like that's the idea behind that immigrant reality TV show, is that like everybody can be awesome, or like pick out the awesome person. And it's like they're even saying like they're actually admitting like not everybody can be awesome, and we're gonna discard the people that are not awesome, kick them to the curb, kind of thing. And so yeah, I was thinking that, and then I was also thinking the other day that this is just to give my thought processes as I do these videos or whatever. I was thinking the other day that like you can't be your best. There's the Melania had the term "be best," and I was just thinking like you can't be your best every day of your life. It's not humanly possible to wake up every day and be better than the day before. I mean, I you could be better in some levels, but you can't be your best every day of your life for your whole life. And you can do the best you can. Like I remember when I was a kid, I was just reminded me of I was thinking about this, and we had a priest or a pastor at our church, and when I used to be Catholic and as a youth, and we would go to school or whatever, and the priest would say, "Just do the best you can. That's all the Lord asks." And he used to repeat that ad nauseum at the homily all the time throughout the whole thing and whatever. And uh, uh, you can do your best. You know, you can do the best you can do on a particular day, but you cannot be your best every day of your life, you know, because it's just not humanly possible to do that. You know, that's why, you know, when you watch sports or whatever, these guys are the premier athletes in the world and they're playing their best basketball, and they cannot be at their best every single game. So, like, that's just one example. That's just a blaring example to us that shows, you know, you cannot be your best. And then, like, if you say that in our society because of the way the corporate structure is situated and the kind of now fascist move that we're heading towards, is like you're almost considered a radical if you say like, well, I can't be my best every single day of my life. And you know, I actually said this the other day on a thread post that I just kind of made that statement. And then in the gang stalking feedback, so I could talk about a little bit about feedback and gang stalking, we went to McDonald's and they were all in disarray or whatever because we were getting breakfast on the way down to San Diego. And you know, they simulated, and then we went to another like bagel shop across the way, and it was like they were simulating people not being their best or whatever, just to kind of show me, like put me in my place, kind of thing. And so like they like to do that with service industry. Like if you say something that they don't like or something, then they mess up your service thing. And you know, you really can't. I'm not saying that you try your worst, but like you try your best, but you can't necessarily be your best every day. Okay, so all right. All right. So Italy is speaking of the citizenship in America. Uh, because of this country is going, I was thinking the other day that like if America votes Republican after seeing all of this fascist moves by this administration, I was thinking like I don't really want to live in America. You know, they're suspending habeas corpus, or they're trying to. They don't really even know what habeas corpus is, or they're pretending to be dumb. And so I was thinking like I'd like to get out of this country because it's getting a little bit dicey. And uh, one place that we were thinking of doing for our family is that we could get Italian citizenship and then get EU citizenship. My mom is getting Irish citizenship, so she can do that, and then she can maybe get start a business, and I can apply for a visa or something if I work for her. So that's an avenue out kind of thing. But I was hoping to get Italian citizenship and then have EU citizenship, but the Italians, I guess, took offense to this, that Americans would use them to get EU citizenship, and so they don't want to deal with Americans, and so they are blocking ancestral citizenship through great grandparents, which would be where how I would get it. I don't think I can get it through my grandpa, even though he's born in America, but he returned to Sicily. He lived to Sicily till he was 18. So I don't think I could get the citizenship through him. I don't believe, and so I would have to get it. Great, but my dad potentially could still get it. But I think we're out on the Italian side, so boo to that. But you know, my sister was saying we could go to Portugal or something. I'd rather live in Italy than Portugal, but you know, I guess uh, I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. I have a little thing about the unacknowledged book. by Stephen Greer. It's you can look up SiriusDisclosure.com for that, but Sirius like the star system Sirius or the satellite radio, but it's not satellite radio. SiriusDisclosure.com. Maybe I'll talk about that next time. All right, this was kind of rambling on about being the best this time or not being the best. Okay, thank you so much for listening to me and have a great day, everybody.